Hello students, welcome to my class of astrophysics. Today's topic is projectile motion, part 1. That is the first part of this lesson. First of all, we have to understand what do you mean by projectile. A projectile is the name given to a body which is thrown into the space with some initial velocity and then allowed to move under the influence of gravity alone without being propelled by any external force. Here the term gravity alone, that is the important one. That means any object is thrown and moves under gravity alone. There are no external force like air resistance, or it is not attached to any engine or fuel is supplied for it. Then the motion of that object is known as the projectile motion, and that object itself known as projectile. And the path followed by the projectile is trajectory. That means here we are getting three terms. One is the projectile, the object is known as the projectile. Another is the projectile motion. This type of motion followed by this projectile is known as the projectile motion, just like oscillatory motion, just like circular motion. It is another type of motion, projectile motion. And the path traced out throughout the whole movement, that is known as the trajectory. There are several common examples in our daily life. Even a stone is thrown in any direction, that stone is nothing but a projectile. And a bullet is fired from a gun, that bullet is also projectile. The movement taken place, that is the type of motion, is a projectile motion. And here when we consider the projectile motion, we are using some assumptions, we are taking some assumptions or considerations. Number one, there is no resistance due to air. Here we neglect the resistance of the air, that means no external force acting on it. The effect due to the earth curvature is negligible. We know the surface of the earth, a curved surface, spherical surface. But a small region we can consider it is a flat surface. That means we here neglect the radius or curvature of the earth surface. We are here consider that earth surface is a flat surface one. And for the smaller region, it is like to be a small plane or flat surface. Next assumption is the effect due to the rotation of earth is negligible, and we know earth is rotating around its own axis, and due to this rotation there is a relative velocity between the atmosphere and the surface of the earth. But here also when any object is projected, there also will be a relative velocity between the projectile and the motion of the earth and the earth, but we neglect it. That means effect due to the rotation of earth is negligible. And next, during the whole trajectory, the acceleration due to gravity is constant, both in magnitude and directions. Also, we know at the different places, at the different altitude, the acceleration due to gravity, that is not the constant, but a smaller region we can consider it is a constant. And when we treat any projectile, we consider the acceleration due to gravity is constant for the whole path, both in magnitude and directions. So when we proceed further, we calculate the different equations, different terms, different quantities related to the projectile motion. Then we consider all these things. That means no external force, no other force. It is better to say when only any object is moving only under the or only alone under the action of gravitational force, then that object is known as the moving object is known as the projectile. And for that we consider these assumptions. Now we will talk about the different types of projectile. Types of projectile, first of all, one is the horizontal projectile. From the name horizontal projectile, we can get some idea what is this. When a body is projected horizontally from the top of a tower or from a certain height with some initial velocity, then the body is called as horizontal projectile. That means when any object is thrown horizontally, and obviously for that we need a higher place. That means it may be height tower, it may be any higher places. Even if you take one table and if you place one coin on it, and if we strike the coin on the plane of the table, and when it falls from the table, that is also example of the horizontal projectile. That coin will be the horizontal projectile. So today, basically in this class, we think about the horizontal projectile. Another type of projectile, that is the oblique projectile. When the body is projected at a certain angle with the horizontal, then the body is called an oblique projectile. That means from anywhere, if you throw any stone with making some angle with the horizontal directions or with the vertical directions also, then it will be known as the oblique projectile or angular projectile. Here we consider the projectile motion as a two-dimensional motion, but another things also, when any object is thrown vertically upwards directly, then the path will be a straight line path. That is also a projectile, that is vertical projectile. We are not considering here. We already learn about that in one-dimensional motion. Here we consider two-dimensional motion. The projectile, it is an example of two-dimensional motion. In this case, the plane of the movement is a vertical plane, not horizontal plane or any other plane. That means the plane of motion, that is for a projectile, that is confined within a vertical plane. If there is a change of the plane, then obviously there will be some other force rather than the gravitational force, and in such a case we cannot treat treat that object as a projectile, because projectile motion means motion of any object that is under gravity alone. Now today, or in this class, we basically keep our discussion among the or within the horizontal projectile. And before that, another fact, it is for all type of projectile motion, principle of physical independence of motion. Motion of a projectile is a two-dimensional motion. The motion can be discussed in two parts, horizontal motion and vertical motion. The two motion takes place independent of each other. This is called the principle of physical independence of motion. That means when the object is moving in a vertical plane, two-dimensional motion, it has both type of motion. One horizontal motion, that means it is moving in horizontal direction. Also, it also moves along the vertical direction also. Therefore, the projectile motion, it is the combination of both horizontal motion and the vertical motion. But the horizontal components do not affect the vertical components, and vertical components do not affect the horizontal components. They consider separate, and they takes place independent to each other. The motion can be discussed as the combination of two one-dimensional motion. At any instant of time, the velocity of projectile has two components. Number one, horizontal component, and number two, vertical component. The horizontal component of velocity remains same throughout the flight, whereas vertical component is continuously affected by the force of gravity acting vertically downwards. That is, vertical motion is with constant acceleration equal to acceleration due to gravity. That means when it is moving, there is no change of the horizontal velocity, because there is no force, no acceleration along the horizontal direction. And if there is any force or acceleration along the horizontal direction, then we cannot say that motion, it is a projectile motion, because gravitational force always acting downwards, that is toward the center of the earth, and due to it, the acceleration always downwards, that is vertically downwards. So there is no component of that vertically downwards acceleration along the horizontal. Therefore, there will be no change of the horizontal velocity, and only there will be change of the velocity, that is the vertical velocity. So let us see about the horizontal projection of projectile. Look at this figure diagram. Let us one tower or any high place, that is height h from the ground, and there is an object. The initial velocity, that is the u, and that is parallel to the direction of the ground. This type of projection is known as the horizontal projection, and that object is horizontal projectile. Let us OX be the horizontal line. It is a horizontal line parallel to the ground, and OY be a vertical line perpendicular to the ground. Here, generally, when we treat the projectile motion, we generally take the point of projection as a origin. Therefore, here we consider this point as a origin. That means the coordinate of this origin is 0, 0. And here, especially here, we consider the OY, that is positive directions of the y-axis, that is vertically downwards is taken as the positive directions. Obviously, then vertically upwards will be the negative directions. But in case of the x, that is left to right, that means along this OX, it is taken as the positive directions. O be the origin for the x-axis and y-axis, and OY direction be positive. For the OY means along this vertically downward direction will be taken as the positive for measurement. Suppose an object is projected from the point O above the ground with velocity u along OX, such that x naught is the 0 and y naught 0 at t is equal to 0. That means at initial time, that means when it is projected, we consider the time t is the 0. And at that, since it is started from the origin, therefore x naught that and y naught, that means initial position is the origin, therefore there is no initial displacement along x-axis or y-axis. Therefore, always here we will consider the x naught 0 and y naught 0. After time t, let us suppose the projectile is reach the point P, and whose coordinate is the x and y. That means in time interval t, the projectile moves vertically downward, that is the y distance, and at the same time there is a horizontal distance, that is the x. P x y means that is the position of the point of projectile at after time t. That means here x y the x coordinate and y coordinate. And at that time here at that place also there are two components of the velocity. One is the Vx, that is horizontal direction, and another Vy, that is in the vertical direction downward. And the resultant velocity V, that will be the resultant of Vx and Vy. Now, soon after the projection, the object moves under the combined effect of two independent perpendicular velocities. Horizontal velocity u, which remains constant if we ignore the air resistance, and basically we have to ignore it, and therefore there is no force along the horizontal direction. There will be no change of the velocity throughout the whole path. The horizontal velocity u will remain unchanged. The vertical velocity, which goes on increasing due to gravity, initial value of this velocity is at 0 at O, that means origin is 0 initial velocity. There is no initial velocity along the y-axis, that means no component of the u along the y-axis, because it is if you consider this angle is 90 degree, the u cos of 90 degree, that means along the y-axis u cos of 90 degree, the 0, there is no component of the u. So at the initial point or initial time, there is only one component of the velocity, and that is the u, and that is along the horizontal directions. Now we have to find out the path of projectile or trajectory. Path of projectile means what is the nature of the path and how can we find out. Now we have to find out the equation of that path. What will be the equation of path? What will be the nature of that equations? From that we can conclude that what will be the nature of the path of the projectile or trajectory. And you should know one thing: when you find out any equation of any path, it may be straight line path, it may be circular path, it may be elliptical path, or any parabola, or is helical path, any other path. When you find out the equation of any path, already you know the linear equations, that is equation of a line. And when we plot the graph, we get a linear line on the graph papers. So that equation is known as the linear equations. As for example, 3x plus 5y is equal to 2. That will be equation of a line and linear equations. So what is the equations? Now, here x and y are the two coordinates at any point on this line. That means when you find out the equations of a line, you have to find out the relationship between x and y coordinates. So here also, when we want to find out the trajectory, that means equation of a trajectory, our basic aim is to find out the relationship between x coordinate and y coordinate. That means what is the relation between x and y? What is the xy? Xy is the coordinates of point P, that means position of the projectile at any point. X is the distance traveled. Let us suppose that at any instant time t, the object reaches at P, xy, so that x equal to distance traveled by the object in horizontal directions in time t, and y is the distance traveled in vertical directions in time t. Motion along the horizontal directions OX of an object from O to P. Along the horizontal directions, already we know that ux, if we consider the component of the velocity along the x-axis, that is ux is u and ax is 0 since no force along the ox, and here x not 0, that means the starting point is the origin. The position of the object at any time t along the horizontal direction, that is along x-axis, is given by x equal to x naught plus uxt plus half into ax into t square. Here we consider the projectile motion at the combination of two one-dimensional motion. One is along the x-axis and another is along the y-axis. So when we have to find out the any quantity along the x-axis, then we have to take the equation of the x components only. Here along the x-axis, the equation is x equal to x naught plus ux into t plus half into x into t square. X naught is the 0 because the projectile is projected from the origin. The initial position is the 0. Therefore, x naught is the 0. Ux is the u, and time t, after time t, we consider time t, half into ax means 0 into t square. And from that we get x equal to ut plus 0. And we get t is equal to x by u. Now there is a equation x equal to ut or t equal to x by u. We will use it later on. Now if we consider the vertical direction motion of the projectile along the OY, and that means O to P, here along the vertical direction uy the 0, no component of the u along the OY, and ay the plus g. Therefore along positive x-axis, the position of the object at any time t along vertical direction, that is along the y-axis, is given by, when we consider, again I am saying, when we consider displacement along the y-axis, then we have to take the equations of components along the y-axis or the components of the along the y-axis, or y is equal to y naught eyt plus half into ay into t square. Here y naught again 0 because it is starting from the origin. Uy also 0. There is no component of the initial velocity along the vertically downward directions. And here ay the plus g. That is interesting one. Here we consider ay the plus g because we are taking the downward direction as a plus direction, and acceleration due to gravity always acting downwards. Therefore, in this situation, in this case, we are considering g ay the plus g. Then the equation y is equal to half into g into t square, because it is 0, it is also 0. Therefore, y is the half into g into t square. Now our target is to find out the relation between x and y, and already we have one equation related to the x, that is x equal to ut, and another relation y is equal to half into g into t square. In these two equation, number 1 and 2 equations, t is the common. So if we replace the value of the t in terms of x, we can easily get the relationship between x and y. Therefore, y is equal to half into g into t square. T square in place of t, if we put the value of x by u whole square. Therefore, y is equal to half into g x square whole divided by u square. It is nothing but the relationship between y and x, and it is obviously constant. You should know that u, initial velocity at any moment, that is always constant. Initial velocity is always constant. So this as a whole term, it is a constant. Y is equal to k into x square, where half g by u square is equal to k, it is a constant. At a particular place, g is the constant, and in assumptions we are also considering that g should be constant throughout the whole motion of the projectile. And obviously u is the constant. The initial velocity always constant. Any initial thing is constant. Now this is a constant, y is equal to k into x square. This is an equation of parabola which is symmetrical about y-axis. Hence the path of horizontal projectile is a parabola. Now it is one equation of a parabola. It is one equation of a parabola. Therefore, the trajectory equation of the trajectory is a parabola. So we can say the path of a projectile, horizontal projectile, is parabola. In future, we also find out the path of a oblique projectile or angular projectile, that will also be a parabola. That means rather than the vertical projectile. When you throw any object vertically upwards, the path, it is a straight line path, that is, it is moving vertically upward in the line, and that also return back through the same line, that is linear motion, one dimensional motion. Other than if you throw any way along the horizontal directions, that means for the horizontal projectile, already we have proved it that the path, it is a parabolic path. Nature of the path is a parabola, and in future also we will learn that for any angular projections also the path will be a parabola. Now another term, time of flight. What is the time of flight? That is first one. It is the total time taken by the projectile to complete its trajectory. That means if it is the total time during which the projectile remains in its flight. That means up to which time it will fly from the projection. That time interval or total time is known as the time of flight. That means for the time taken to reach the ground, and that is the total time of the flight, and it is known as the time of flight. Let us capital T be the time of flight and h be the vertical height of the point of projection from the ground. So already we have drawn here, h is the vertical height from the ground or point of projection. This is the h, and time taken to reach from O point to C point, that total time interval is known as the time of flight in this case. Our target is to find out the time of flight, and when it reaches the ground, the total distance travel along the vertical direction, that y will be h. That means from with the help of this equation we can find out the time of flight. That means when y is the h, at that time the t will be called capital T, that is time of flight. Here also y naught, that is the 0, that is starting from the origin. There is no initial component uy, therefore 0, and ay obviously plus j here. Therefore h is equal to y is equal to h is equal to 0 plus 0 plus half into g into t square. Therefore half g into t square is the h, or t square is equal to 2h by g. It is the time of flight. T is equal to root over 2h by g is the time of flight. T is equal to root over 2h by g, that is the time of flight. Now here it is one interesting fact, that there is no mass of term of mass, or there is no term of u. I am saying again, how can you find the time of flight? Now with the help of this equation, when y is the h, that means when the projectile reach the ground, the total time taken for it, t equal to capital T, by putting all these value in these equations. Along the vertical direction, the equation y is the y naught u y t plus half into a y into t square. Now putting all these value, we get capital T square is equal to 2h by g, or t is equal to 2h by g. Now here some things are noted to be noted. In horizontal projection, the time taken by a projectile to reach the ground is independent of the initial velocity of the projection, but depends upon the height of location from where the projectile is projected. There is no term of u. That means if you increase the speed of projection, value of the u, there will be no change in the time period. If you project all the objects from 0 to certain value, then for all the objects projected with different velocities, they all will reach the ground with at the same time, and that time is equal to 2h by g. That only depends upon the height of the tower, not depends upon the initial velocity. There is also no term of the mass. If two bodies of different masses are projected horizontally from the same vertical height at different velocity, but projected horizontally, obviously, they reach the ground simultaneously. Even if u is a 0, just you drop the object, then that also reach the ground at the same time, and that is t equal to root over 2h by g. That is one very interesting fact. Sometimes we think which is projected with more velocity, that will reach the ground earlier. It is not so. For the different velocities, if they are projected horizontally, then they all of different masses also, they all reach the ground at the same time, and that time interval t is the root over 2h by g. Now horizontal range, another term is the range, horizontal range. It is the time, it is the horizontal distance traveled by the projection during its time of flight. Or you can say it is the horizontal distance traveled by the projectile from the foot of the tower to the point where it hits the ground. In this figure diagram, it is now clear. It is projected from the point O and it strike at the ground at point A. And this distance from the foot of the tower to the point where it strike the ground, this distance is known as the range of the projectile. And let us up, generally we are taking capital R for the notation of the range of the projectile, and it is really horizontal range. That means horizontal distance travel during the time of flight. We here we consider the motion of a projectile along the horizontal. So using the relations, that means we have to find out the distance travel in horizontal directions, and that is here we consider along the x-axis. So we have to take the relation x is equal to x naught plus uxt plus half into x into t square. Now be careful when we consider the vertical, then we take the y equation for the y-axis, and when we consider the horizontal direction movement, we separately take x is equal to x naught uxt plus half ax into t square, and here also x naught is 0, ux is the u initial velocity that is initially along the horizontal directions, and ax is also 0 because there is no force acting on the projectile along the horizontal directions. Ax 0 and t is the capital T. Now putting all these value in this equation, x is equal to r, x is equal to r, that is the range. There is the u into t plus half into 0 into t square because ax 0, and we get r is equal to u into t, that is r. Already we find out the time of flight. Here total time is the time of flight. Already we find out the time of flight, that is the capital T equal to root over 2h by g. Therefore range will be u root over 2h by g, where h is the height of the tower and u is the initial horizontal direction velocity. Note here horizontal range of different projectiles given horizontal projections from the same vertical height, but with the different initial velocity, it will be different. That means it depends upon also the u, also the h. If h increases, r also increases for the same u, and if u increases, r also increase for the same height. When both changes, that means r depends upon both u and h. R directly proportional to u and r directly proportional to root over h. And here there is also no term of mass. That means for the same velocity, for the same horizontal velocity, for the same height, for the different mass, range will be same. It is not so the heavier one, and there will be another range for the lighter one, that will be another higher range. It is not so, that depends upon the initial velocity and height of the tower. Now, velocity of projection at any instant of time t. Initially the velocity that is along the x-axis only, that is the u. But when it moves under the gravity due to the acceleration of gravity, the velocity downward direction, vertically downward direction gradually increases. There will be no change of the u because there is no force along the horizontal directions, but vy that gradually increases. As a result, the resultant velocity increases. The resultant velocity at any point p, that will be the resultant of the vx and vy at that point. It is the resultant velocity of the projectile at any instant of time. Let us at any instant of time t, projectile is at point P. At any time P, the projectile is at point P. For the motion of projectile along horizontal direction, we consider the horizontal component, that is x component. And for that we are using here Vx equal to ux plus x into t, where ux is the 0 and ax is the 0. Therefore Vx is equal to u. For vertical motion, Vx is equal to ux plus x yt. That means uy here 0, there is no vertical component of the initial velocity, and ay is the g. Now here vy is the g into t. That means at any time there is no change of the Vx. Vx is always u for the whole motion. But vy with respect to time, if we consider that vy in this example because uy is the 0, g into t. Now, what is the resultant? Since Vx and Vy, these two are rectangular components, they are mutually perpendicular to each other. Therefore, mutually perpendicular, therefore, the resultant velocity, that means speed, resultant speed, it is better to say V equal to root over Vx square plus Vy square, and Vx is the u square plus g square and t square root over. So Vt at any time t, that means function of time t, because u and g are constant, that is V function of time t, at any moment root over equal to root over u square plus g square into t square. And at the same time, since we are saying it is a velocity, that we have to give the directions, and for the directions we consider the angle with the horizontal. Let us suppose beta is the angle with the horizontal, therefore we can easily say that tan of beta is equal to, this is Vy divided by Vx. Therefore tan of beta, that will be Vy by Vx, and Vy we know already, that is the g into t by u. Therefore beta, that is the tan inverse gt by u, where beta is the angle with horizontal directions, and with the help of beta we can get the directions at any point on the path. And if you want to say in terms of the x and y, not in terms of the t, we can also find out at any place. We already know that Vx is the u. At when it reach the point P, which coordinate is the x and y, then at that point Vy square is equal to uy square plus 2 into ay into y. Therefore, it is a 0. Therefore, Vy square equal to 0 plus 2 into g into y. Here, y is the position, y coordinate, that means vertically downward distance travel, that is the y. Therefore, with Vy square, you can write that is equal to 2 into g into y. So in terms of y also, we get the velocity at that point, that is the root over u square plus 2g into y. Here also, when y increases, v also increases. Tan of beta, and in this case Vy by Vx, that is the root over 2gy by u, or beta equal to tan inverse root over 2gy by u. It is the angle with the horizontal, that means either in terms of t we can express the velocity at any moment or at any place, then we have to use this equation at any point on the trajectory, what will be the velocity, numerical value, and the directions we can get the from these two equations. Now, velocity of the projectile when the projectile hits the ground, that means when it hits the ground, what will be the velocity? When a projectile is thrown from top of tower horizontally, then it takes time t, time of flight, to reach the ground. Horizontal component of velocity at this time Vx. That means Vx, that is always u, there will be no change. Several times we have find it, there will be no change of the velocity along the x-axis, even if when it strike the ground, Vx that remain unchanged, there is a u, because there is no force along the horizontal directions. Vertical component velocity, that will be maximum when it reach the ground, and that Vy the uy plus ay into t, where what is the t, and this is time of flight, total time taken to reach the ground, and therefore Vy is the g into capital T, and we know capital T already we have find out, that is root over 2h by g. Since t is equal to root over 2h by g, that is total time of flight. Now, when it hits the ground, if we take the g within the bracket, then g square 2h g square by g, that is 2gh. H is the height of the tower. So the resultant velocity when projectile hits the ground, that is the Vx square plus root over Vx square plus Vy square, and Vx square always u square, and we have now find out when it hit the ground, the Vy, that will be root over 2gh. So that is equal to root over 2gh whole square. Therefore, V will be root over u square plus 2gh, and V will be root over u square plus 2gh. And obviously, tan of beta, that will be Vy by Vx, that is root over 2gh divided by u, or beta is the tan inverse root over 2gi by u. That means in this way we can find out what will be the velocity when hit the ground. These are the all about the horizontal projectile. So in this class we have learned that what is projectile and different assumptions taken when we consider the projectile motion. Next, the horizontal projectile, its range, its equation of the path, time of flight, velocity at any point, and velocity when it hits the ground. In our next class, we will learn about the oblique projectile, similar terms, what will be the equation of the trajectory, what will be the range, what is the time of flight, what will be the velocity at any point, what is the maximum height reached, what is the range, what is the maximum range along the horizontal direction, what is the maximum range along the vertical direction. That will be discussed in the next classes. And today, for these classes, we only know this. Now wait for the next class.